What's happening, Gooligans? Y'all want to know about some motherfucking metal from the region, aka Northwest Indiana? Stay tuned. What's happening, Gooligans? Going kicking it old style, man. Fucking for this occasion. This is a beer we used to drink in high school. Still drink it now, but we started drinking it in high school. Used to fucking chase this down with Calvert's Extra, man. Good stuff, man. Fucking Midwestern beer from the region. That's Chicagoland, but it's been a minute. Sorry, I haven't been posting as much, but I went back to graveyard shift, so I'm on a wholly different fucking, totally different level. So I'm just doing these as I go, you know, when I get time or feel like it. But whatever, man. You know, it's all good fun. Anyways, fucking, I've been wanting to do this a minute. On bands from my area, Northwest Indiana, aka the region. And basically what the rest of the country calls this place the region. Some people anyways, some people know about it, but it's anywhere between like East Chicago, right, where East Chicago is part of Indiana. It's a city in Indiana, but it's made up of the region. Northwest Indiana is mainly made up of like 3 counties. That's Lake, Porter, and LaPorte, but it could also be anywhere from the border of Chicago, the city, where like it borders Indiana, all the way to South Bend, Indiana. But basically it makes up mostly three counties: Lake, Porter, and LaPorte. I've lived in all 3. I've lived in Lake County, I lived in Gary, I lived in Lake Station, I lived in Hobart, Crown Point, all throughout my life. And then I lived many years, my later teenage years, high school in Porter County, Chesterton High School, and now I'm currently in LaPorte, which is I live in Michigan City, which is it's right on the lake. It's 15 minutes away from actual Michigan, so they call it Michigan City. Good old fucking Johnny Cash did a song about Michigan City. Actually, that's a prison song because I'm only 5 minutes away from Michigan City State Prison.
Michigan City, Indiana, howdy do.
Also, in the same county, LaPorte, we got 2 fucking prisons. You believe that shit, man? This is a crazy fucking area. We got a state prison and a Westville prison. So, yeah, fucking pretty crazy shit. But yeah, we also home of Belle the fucking Butcher, man, the Black Widow. She resided here, serial killer.
Belle Guinness was a lady fair in Indiana State. She weighed about 300 pounds, and that is quite some weight. That she was stronger than a man, her neighbors all did own. She butchered hogs right easily, and did it all alone. But hogs were just a sideline she indulged in now and then. Her favorite occupation was the butchering of men.
Back in the 1800s, so she resided here. John Dillinger, I think, was from fucking Crown Point, that dude. So like, yeah, pretty cool, rich history. Anyways, so this area is made up of steel mills, swampland, and farmland. Weirdly, so you get a kind of a combination. I call it the fucking toilet of Lake Michigan. It's right on the lake, but then you got your farmland, and you got your fucking industry. You got your factories, it's fucking weird, really weird. So very, very diverse in that sense. But anyways, some really cool fucking metal has came from this area. And I'm gonna do probably a few videos on this because I ain't gonna fit this all into one because it would just take too fucking long. I don't want to bore everyone to death. But these are just some bands I want to reflect on that from my home area that have been very important to me. Growing up, and I just want to shine some light on. So This first band. Okay, here we go. Let's get into it here. Where the fuck did it go? Oh, here it is. You guys gotta check this out. Now, this is what I would call. Now, there was like, you know, from Sweden you had the supergroup Nihilist. That band pretty much went on to form a bunch of other bands. The guys split up. All, you know, there was Entomb. There's fucking Dismember. There's, you know, that kind of whole shebang. Now, there's a similar band to me from my area called Thanatopsis. I'm probably saying it wrong, but they were fucking early 90s, man. This came out in 90. Well, this was a re-release, but they actually had a record deal with Peaceville, and I found this out later, years, you know, just a few years back. I was talking to one of the old guitar player from this band, Tom Stathis, I think his name is. He also went on to go into another band called Nocturnal Torment. I'm gonna have to do a video on, like I said, more videos on this. But anyways, yeah, something happened. The band just fell apart right when they had the fucking record deal, and so, unfortunately. So they could have been on fucking Peaceville, but this is true fucking classic. It is like crazy fucking death metal. I mean, death thrash metal, you know. But it's got some fucking technical chops. It's really fast. But what I mean by supergroup, so there's Tom Stathis that I'm familiar with. He's a guitar player. The drummer Dave Ross he went on to play in a bunch of other fucking bands. So like in another video I'm gonna have to do more on. And also Mark Schultz on guitar. The other few members I'm not too familiar with, but those three guys, you know, they went on to do a bunch of other stuff and form a bunch of other bands. But this is a very important band from my area, from way back in the fucking day, you know. And I highly recommend, just even if you can't find it, listen to it on YouTube. I plan on making a playlist of all these bands on my page, so it's definitely worth checking out. It's, you know, it's nothing fucking spectacular, but you know, it's good shit. It's classic. It's legendary. It's from my area, and I think it's great. I mean, it's crazy fucking death thrash for the time. And another cool thing about this is these bands, they did not have like hardly any money for recording, so like the shit is raw and in your face. These aren't like spectacular recordings, and that's another thing I actually really like about some of these bands is, you know, these are true bands from just local bands from my area, underground bands. They didn't have access to, you know, what we have now, thankfully. I'm saying we should be thankful for the shit we got now, like how easy it is to make music and create. It's really awesome. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, but you know, back in the day, it wasn't to be a local band. You didn't have any money, and to record, you know, people charging fucking $1,000 a fucking hour, you know, or whatever the studio time is. And no one knows how to record death metal, especially not here in this bumfucked steel fucking city, you know. So this stuff was, you know, very primitive. Another thing I wanted to mention, we're pretty much like Chicago's fucking fucked up hillbilly fucking cousin, man. I mean, when it comes to metal, like we're right next door, and there's a lot of bands here. There's a big fucking metal scene here. As far as like locally, I mean, there's a lot of people into this shit. I mean, you will find people, bands, and I always like said we're like we're kind of stuck in the fucking 80s when Chicago bands come out here to play. They're like, man, it reminds me of the fucking 1980s. You guys, like just how things are. You're like stuck in the fucking 80s. when they like play shows out here. But you know, fucking yeah, I always say we're like, you know, fucked up Chicago. we're like Chicago's fucked up hillbilly cousin coming to jam, you know, when we go do shows or whatever. But you know, band wise and people, it's fucking cool. But yeah, Thanatopsis. So check this out, you know. But here's another really important band. Now I actually know more of I know most of these guys, you know, or you know, hung out, talked with them, acquaintances. You know, these are like my local metal brothers. But this band is very important. Psychomancer. I think they're probably, to me, they're probably our Northwest Indiana's most known export, you know, as far as a band, because I mean they went on to they formed, I believe, in '97 by Dustin Billard. He's the bass player, singer now, but I think he's one of the original founding members. But this is their debut album. One cool thing, man, fucking one of the songs that I really like, my favorite song is fucking Crucifixion, and it's I don't know, man, it's got such a cool fucking riff. It reminds me of like this I don't know, like tribe, like native tribe ready to go to fucking war. It's just got me, has that kind of a fucking sound to it. I've never heard a riff like it. Now, a lot of people compare these guys to a 6 Feet Under, and I think mainly because of Sean's vocals. He totally resemble Chris Barnes. Sean McCormick, really cool dude. Fucking, he went on he's in another band now called Hellgrind. But anyways, on this particular, I mean, like, yeah, his vocals are, I think they're fucking better than Barnes. I mean, 6 Feet Under era, way better. I mean, his voice doesn't crack up. I'm like, it's just how he wasn't trying to sound like Barnes. I think it's just the way his fucking vocals sound like. This is more mid-paced death metal. It's not stupid fast, but it's got some grit to it. It's really unique. I think they're more influenced by Obituary personally, but the earlier stuff anyways. But you know, it's worth checking out. This is another fucking classic. I mean, I remember hearing this in high school. When I first heard it, it was a burned CD. I was a friend of mine. Well, my neck of the woods, we had a big fucking metal crew, but we'd all trade CDs with each other. Some people would burn them, some people, you know. So someone handed me a burned CD of this, and I listened to it, and they're like, "Man, these guys are from," you know, at the time I was living in Chesterton. Like, these guys are fucking Chesterton, man, or they're around this area. And I heard it, and I was like, I think I was like 14 or 15. I don't remember. And fucking listening to it, I was like, holy shit, this is cool. Like, there's like some guys from our area like doing this shit. Because at the time, you know, early 2000s, my area was a full of nothing but fucking teeny bopper new metal bands. I mean, that was the shit. And then to hear a local band doing death metal, because that was just, I never, being when I was that young, I wasn't aware that there's more people into it. There's older guys, these guys were back then probably in their 30s, close to my age now. So being a young kid, like knowing that, like, wow, there's these other badasses out there, like fucking going at it. Well, little did I know, Psychomancer, they played the Milwaukee Metal Fest in, I believe, 2000, 2001. They played shows with Mortician. I mean, they were doing shit. I mean, they have a demo. I didn't get a posted demo, but their demo's worth checking out. This was their debut, just Psychomancer. And then they went on to do another album, really heavy fucking record called Butchered. And they split for a little while, and then they reformed, and now they changed their sound a little bit. I mean, it's still mid-paced death metal, but I think they had now they got a little more of a Swedish influence, but it's still good. I mean, they've stuck to their fucking guns. It's just old school fucking heavy death metal. It's good. I mean, and I've got nothing bad to say about this band or any of these bands. They're all from my neck of the woods. They're all real cool people. Another shout out, another cool person in this band. One of my favorites is the drummer, what the fuck, Rob Lawrence. He's a sick fucking drummer. He's not like a blast beater, but man, I swear, as far as like somebody that does like percussion and really tight double bass, and his drum fills are just unique. I've never heard a drummer like him ever in my entire life, on any any album. I think he's a really unique drummer. And here we go on to another band. So these bands are all kind of somewhat related, because this area is kind of a fucking small area. But Rob Lawrence, the drummer of he's the old drummer of Psychomancer. He's no longer in Psychomancer. I forgot to mention that. I think Corey Ironside's playing for Psychomancer now. But another dude my age, really cool dude, another fucking badass drummer. But here's a band called Rob Lawrence. I think this was his first band. This band is fucking great. I love this fucking album. Chronic Black 1134. Now, when I found this, I was also a fucking kid when I found this. I had no idea who these guys were, that they were from my area. All I knew was I was in a used CD store, and there was no metal in it, and I was flipping through, and I saw this. I was like, well, who the fuck is this band? I was like, that logo looks fucking cool. And then I open it up, and I'm like, oh shit, like, a dude's wearing a fucking Morbid Angel shirt and a Black Sabbath shirt. I was like, and a Cannibal Corpse shirt. I was like, alright, I'm sold. But this here, that's Rob Lawrence. That's the drummer I'm telling you about. I don't know who these two guys are. That's Rob Knopf. He went on to play in a black metal band called Ezerate. Knopf's played in fucking more bands than I can fucking... I don't know, so many goddamn bands. But anyways, Chronic Black. Their style, again, you guys gotta hear this. This is fucking great shit. It's like, to me, it's like Incantation meets Autopsy. Now, when I was a kid, I had no idea that I would go on to meet all these guys much later. I had no idea, but this was cool. Just fucking flipping through, and I found this. I'm like, man, wow, there's like death metal guys that are in bands from my area. Like, in my early days, I didn't have the fucking internet. I didn't. Not many people I knew had the fucking internet. You know, internet was very. I would say for me, it was for fucking yuppies, man. You know. You had to be a fucking yuppie to have the goddamn internet, or like your goddamn fucking someone's fucking grandparents that retired and had, you know, a good pension or something. You know, you'd go to their house and maybe they had internet, or maybe one kid out of your crew did. You know, I just didn't have it. You didn't look shit up. Everything was word of mouth, or how I found out about stuff a lot of times with magazines. You know, so and I didn't go out and buy every goddamn thing that I could. I just didn't have the money. So, you know, any chance I would get, though, and I get a little bit of cash, I go out and buy something. But yeah, used CD stores were my best bet, and this was I've had this goddamn over 20 years now, something like that. How many? Yeah, shit, going on 20 years feels like. I don't know how long it's been. I was a young teen, but yeah. Huh. I got it from Shallow Grave, actually. The sticker's still fucking on there. It's no longer called Shallow Grave anymore. I forgot what they changed it to. It's a comic book store now. Well, actually, it was always a comic. They had a comic book store on one side, and then a fucking record CD store. Well, it was a CD store, and then it turned into records. I don't think they sell even vinyl in there anymore. But yeah, check this out. They also have a demo. But good stuff. And last on the list here. Wait, I think that is last on the fucking list. Shit. I guess we're just gonna do 3 bands for right now. Another thing I forgot to mention. I don't know if any of you guys remember a record label called Forever Underground. If you even made it to this fucking far of the video, let me know. They are also out of Forever Underground was a label out of Hobart, Indiana, which is in Lake County, right next to fucking Gary, actually. But Forever Underground Records had a lot of bands on it. I'm sure you all remember Beheaded, another band called Fleshatized. I think Gorgasm. Quote me if I could be wrong, but there was a lot of like brutal death metal bands on it. Reprobation. But I remember one of the main ones I remember was Beheaded. Man, Beheaded is one of my I think of like brutal death metal. That's some wicked shit. But we had our own fucking like underground label here for a long time. Fortunately, it folded for whatever fucking reason. My goal when I was younger, I was like, I'm gonna get a fucking band, and I'm gonna get on that goddamn label, you know, Forever Underground Records. That was like my goal, but you know, of course, it fucking failed. The label, I don't know what happened to it, but some of the bands are still around that were on it. I know Beheaded is, so that's just something kind of cool. I mean, we have more labels. There's Orchestrated Misery. That's also another guy that runs that is another fucking legend in the scene. In the Pete Clemens. So check out his label, Orchestrated Misery. Actually, he released the Shards of the Hourglass. He put out this Psychomancer. He's in a band called Invasion. I'm gonna do more stuff on, you know. I'm trying to keep these not too long. I don't want to be on here for a fucking hour. So I mean good stuff actually. What the fuck else was I gonna mention? Other thing I wanted to say is, so you know, J Dog has his people that he talks about, like his Dawn of the Deads and you know fucking King Fowleys and you know all those guys that he looks up to. So in my area, same damn thing, you know, like these older guys were, you know, they schooled us a lot. I mean, no, I'm saying schooled us. I mean, me and my peers, because there's a bunch of younger guys back, you know, 15, 20 years ago, my age, that were getting into this shit. So it was cool when, you know, I met. So for me, it was Black Metal Jim. Yeah, if you guys, any of you guys saw that video where Mike Violate interviewed us. Jim's he's not a musician, but he's a fucking metal legend in our area. He's one of those people that used to go to every fucking show. It didn't matter where it was. Throughout here in the Chicagoland area, you'd always see him. He's even on Levidity's album, "Show Us Your Tits Live." He's actually in. If you any of you out there have it or look it up, he's actually on the cover of that. But he was he's somebody who has a collection that is just fucking insane. I used to go and party at his place, you know, my early 20s, fucking just getting wasted, listening to goddamn all kinds of shit. He turned me on to all kinds of great metal stuff. You know, back then in those days I didn't have the fucking internet either, even though the internet was really prominent and you know smartphones and shit were just coming out. This being like 2010. Yeah, fucking he turned me on to a lot of metal. He was like a fucking encyclopedia of metal, you know, underground shit, 80s thrash and all that. You know, I'm not a big thrash guy, but fucking so he was one of good people, you know. And then the Psychomancer guys, man, fucking those like I was talking about Rob Lawrence, the drummer, or he went on to, you know, do Hellgrind with him and Sean McCormick. And Dustin Billard, man, cheers. He's another Dustin Billard, the bass player of Psychomancer. That dude is really fucking down to earth, really cool, fucking badass bass player, vocalist. He's all these guys have been really big influence to me, and you know they've all been really fucking cool. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all of them, but just say, hey, you know, like J Dog talks about, like, you know, his people like that, and it's like, well, in my small area we have the same, you know, kind of thing going on with the older guys, you know, the guys that were fucking there that started them. I always call them pioneers, you know, which they were, you know, just maybe they didn't climb to the top like all these other bands did, but it doesn't mean they weren't into it and still aren't, you know. They fucking, these guys are all hardcore. They still all go to shows. They fucking, you know, they're still into it, man. It's really cool. And then you had us, and now you got the even younger people into it. It's fucking cool, you know. It's a good thing, you know. But all right, that's my shit. That's Northwest Indiana, man, aka the motherfucking region. So yeah, check some of these bands out, like I said. Until next time, stay tuned.